Hello, everybody.
But we don't, so I'm gonna just go straight here.
Just had three lovely camera angles of you now.
Oh my god, so nice. So we have the here we go. So we're gonna start again. So
Drum roll again.
Drum roll again. So we are live, so this is what happens on live streamings. So Liftoff sessions May 2020. If you are with us and I've already announced the winner, keep it to yourself. I will announce it again right now. So congratulations to Guillaume and Devils in Disguise for winning the feature slot. Congratulations. And to our short winner goes to Ananesis, which is directed by Ryan and Mark. Congratulations on your winnings. Claire, would you like to tell them what they've won?
Absolutely. So the feature winner will be invited to join us at Pinewood Studios when everything is up and running again and we can have guests at the lot. They'll be joining us for a day with all the other feature winners from the last year. And Anamnesis wins a live screening at Los Angeles Liftoff Film Festival and at Pinewood Studios. So 2 screenings for the short winner.
And then we have the 2 special mentions. So well done to Mademoiselle, directed by Simon Grass, and well done to Nervoso, which is directed by Sean Coyle. You will be joining us for a roundtable in the next coming weeks, and we're very excited to be hearing about how your films were made and the struggles that you came up against and just how you got the project on its feet. So we're excited to have you joining us on one of our YouTube live streams. So let's move on. And Claire, do you want to tell us who the finalists were?
Yeah, congratulations to all finalists who, as soon as this stream is over, you'll be receiving an email with your free intermediate membership for 1 year. So the finalists go to Alone, Blue Iris, Cellotrape, Coronavirus Around the World. We've seen several of these corona-related films popping up. It's been fun to see those. Cover Up, Everyone's Home, Exotic Extinction, Fian, How to Bind a Demon, If the World Was a Movie, La Camara Indiscreta, Manasana Maha, Memoir, Monkey on One's Back, Monty's Story, Pav Baji, Quarantine Coexistence, there we go, another one, Self, The Answer Message, The Flight of Spring, The Legend of Kung Funk Volume 2, The Other Side, and The Sound. So congratulations to everybody.
Cool, great. So moving on to the presentation and the workshop today. Claire.
Absolutely. So this is something that we hear so much about. How do you actually make money from your art as a filmmaker? Stephen Follows, who we often mention, comes up with the fact that in Britain, only 1 in 5 feature filmmakers will go on to make another film. So I think part of the problem is that, but then there's so many other issues that we're going to address in this workshop as to how you can keep in the industry and actually have a sustainable career making money from your work.
Great. But it's important to remember, if your end goal is to make money from your project, then it's vital to spend most of your day-to-day within the industry, where you will learn and continue to gain knowledge. So I mentioned this in my last workshop, which was last Friday, on finding opportunity for filmmakers. And before I moved into this industry, I was working in a different job. I wanted to be an actor, and I was auditioning, and alongside that, I wasn't really doing much else. I was just waiting for the phone to call. So I decided to get a job at Pinewood in the canteen, and then from there I found Liftoff Global Network. I had an interview, and I put myself in a position where I was constantly working within the industry alongside trying to achieve my goal of becoming an actor. So I was very lucky to find something that was that adaptable. But if you're in a job, and we'll get into more details about this later on, but if you're in a job which isn't connected to the industry, then you're kind of limiting what you're learning and what you're seeing, and you're not really evolving with what the industry is doing and where it's going. So it is important to find yourself in a position where you can constantly absorb that knowledge and absorb how the landscape is forever changing. So moving on. The ignorant artist is a poor one. So becoming more responsible with your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge is exactly what I've just mentioned. The filmmakers that rise from the dust are always those that do as much as they can to better understand their industry. So if you want to be a director, but you've just come out of film school or you're looking to work on your first production, you're not going to go straight in as a director. If you become a runner, you can understand what is going on set. You will see how every individual is working towards one thing. And you can ask them how they are progressing in their career or how they got to that stage. If you want to be a producer, it's the same thing. You could look at different production companies, see how they're running things. And if you want to be an actor, there is no harm in doing extra work or being a background artist. Again, you will see how everything runs on set, absorbing that knowledge and always putting yourself out there. So be clear with your objectives. What is it that you're trying to do? What is your end goal? Always strive to work towards that. And if that is your pure passion, you will get there. Cool. So knowing yourself.
So know yourself. This is something that we've mentioned before, I think, on some of our previous workshops. But it's all about understanding what works best for you, to put it simply. Understanding your productive pattern from day to week to month to year. And that's essential for driving your ambition. I mean, for me, for example, I think years and years of bar work has made me somewhat nocturnal. I'm a bit of a night owl, whereas Natalie, I know you are up and running from the crack of dawn. I've always witnessed that. And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go to the office from 10 p.m. onwards. But what it does mean is that I'm very aware of when I'm at my best. And certainly for passion projects, I know what kind of sections of the day I need to most aim for. And so equally, knowing your limitations. From something as silly as, do you need a coffee to get yourself going? Know when you can't work, know when you can. All of those things really is all essential. And then I guess most importantly on this same train of thought is know what the industry could be for you now as well as later. This is something that we're going to elaborate a lot on later on in this workshop, but it's really about not just thinking about that end goal, but as Natalie has already mentioned, the career path to get you there. Just capitalizing on every opportunity in the now, as well as just, that's what I want later.
Great. So ask yourself the 5 tough questions. Do you care enough about this career to 1, change location, move to a larger city that has more opportunities? 2, quit the day job. 3, begin the process of strategic growth through hard work and sometimes taking slightly demoted roles. Entering a lifestyle that could completely be chaotic. Or are you prepared to open your eyes and ears to that of your peers who might be a few steps ahead of you? So all of these questions are super important to ask yourself. Are you willing to uproot everything you know and move somewhere else? Are you willing to risk not getting a steady paycheck every month? Are you willing to maybe work in a position that is lower than where you currently are? Taking a volunteer, an intern position or a runner position, it is starting at the bottom, but you can work your way up and you can learn along the way and achieve exactly what it is that you want to and what you've set out to do within this industry by doing that. Or entering a completely chaotic lifestyle. We've both been on set. We both are creatives. We know it can be chaotic. One day you could be waking up at 4 a.m. to get to the shoot for 6 a.m. call or whatever it may be, and then you don't finish until gone midnight. And you do that repetitively for a few days or however long the shoot is. It can also be the same for post-production if you're working endlessly to meet a deadline, or if it's pre-production and you're stressing out before the shoot dates are fast approaching. It can be chaotic, but it is definitely rewarding. So again, it needs to be your passion that's the reason why you're doing this.
Yeah, you're so right, Nat. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? That we always tell ourselves we absolutely love it. And of course you do. But there are definitely times when you're exhausted, you're dead on your feet. As you've said, it's like 5 a.m. I once finished an on-location shoot. And I had to get there at 6 a.m. because as a locations marshal, you're first on, last off. And we didn't wrap until something like 4 a.m. And you're completely exhausted. And I think you do have to be prepared for that in this industry.
I finished a shoot. It was very intense. I think we did something silly like almost 30 hours straight. Well, it felt like it anyway. And that was the last shoot day. And I just remember turning around to everyone being like, oh my God, we did it. And then people crying because they were so emotional over it. And it's like, oh, yeah, exactly. You become exhausted and then you just release everything. Just like all your hard work is achieved. And then the final point here is, are you open to learn from what your peers have done, basically? So look at what they've done. Can you do what they're doing? Can you learn from what they have achieved? And if something worked for them, it doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you, but you can reach out to them and ask them, how did they achieve that? So we talk about it quite a lot in the office because we have a lot of interns working with us, and they're just like, I've seen this director who made this amazing short film and it's something that I would like to do myself. So they've asked us to get in touch with that director. Obviously, we reach out to the director first and ask if that's okay. And if it is, we set up little meetings and they've had coffees together, or they've actually met at a bar and had a drink and talked about the process. It's all about asking for advice, and people love giving advice. So, yes.
Definitely. And just, we can do one shout out here, actually. I just suddenly thought, when we see that change location, to two of our network members, Bethany and Nathan, who have uprooted really recently from London to Los Angeles. And I just think it's so brave and admirable, but you're just going for what you want, and you know, you're making any of those big moves.
Yeah, and they're doing really well. They're being very successful. Cool. So as a freelancer, Claire, you know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I don't have much personal experience with this, but it's definitely something I've obviously witnessed in the industry with so many people. And I know it's tough. It can be difficult. As it says there, you spend a lot of your time looking for work, but then the kind of catch-22 is that when you are working, you have to pause that process and you can't necessarily get something lined up. It's really tough. Obviously, as well, the more commitments you kind of have, whether that's a mortgage or kids. I mean, when I was working for a television company, Studio Lambert, the people around me, it would be tough because television contracts, especially compared to film, can be so short. And sometimes it just couldn't line up neatly. And then you're wondering, where is that next paycheck going to come in from? But of course, there's loads of positives that come from freelancing as well, meeting so many more people, new companies. But it's just definitely something to be aware of. So going on from that then, there are several different types of situations and jobs that you can do which orbit the film industry, but will not leave you feeling jaded or over and underwhelmed. And we're going to look at some of those now. So as it says there, background artist, or as we call it in England, extra work on film sets. And this can be great. I mean, on average, that can be sort of between $100 and $200 per day. They tend to pay you per day rather than per hour. But most of the time, you're just sitting around. You can read a book. I had to take care of some extra artists when I was doing runner work on some feature films. And it looked pretty great. Obviously, the most important thing is you're getting to meet everybody. So yes, you can just put yourself away in a corner and do some work or read a book, but equally talk to the people around you and capitalize on that experience. And like we say, good money.
It is really good money.
Yeah. And it's cool. Like, if you want to be in the industry, like, that's an exciting place for you to be. Seeing what's going on, the costumes, for me, like the hair and makeup, like, you know, it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
More so than doing another bar work, although I did love bar work too. Okay, moving on. Assistant to a director or producer. Again, of course, the massive factor there is you're seeing how the full scale works, but you're making those contacts. Offer up your service as a producer, for indie content. Always in demand. Again, getting credits on your CV, but meeting people. I keep saying that seems to be the focus here, isn't it? Work for a distribution or production company, taking on possibly a non-cognitive role, but again, all the benefits that come with that. And lastly, this was an interesting point from James, our co-founder. Approach field marketing companies and inform them of your keen interest, particularly in the film sector. So. And James tells us that you can get like £20 an hour doing this. So again, really great pay. So you're working on a freelance basis and meeting clients some of the companies James mentioned was things like Disney, Warner Brothers. I mean, imagine meeting those clients and working for them. Just a cool thought.
Nice. So if you're not being proactive and you're essentially failing to learn, you need to keep gaining habits, working process. And if you fail to keep up with the ever-changing landscape of film, you'll result in a feeling of sense like you're disconnected. So this will also rapidly reduce your enthusiasm towards your goal, and your career aspirations will fall away from you. So as I mentioned earlier, it's super important to keep connected, keep meeting with people, keep finding opportunities for yourself, because that way you'll keep your projects alive, you will keep everything ticking, and before you know it, you have reached that goal, and then you will move on to something else, and then you'll just grow within this industry, and passion always sells, so that's one way that it will bring in the money. Cool. So 4 ways to make money as a filmmaker today. So you could sell your project ideas. You could run targeted market campaigns that draw audiences to your work. Create a production company that makes music videos, business content, Kickstarter, crowdfunding videos, and public funded initiatives, so PFI-based content. And you can also build a journalist database and offer out PR services that connect you with your content from number 3. So the first one is selling your projects. So the key here is creating sellable work and being prolific. By solving a problem for someone and being quick to amend, quick to deadlines, and quick to over-delivering. So every year we have our Liftoff Season Awards here at Pinewood Studios, and we've hired a multitude of videographers to come and shoot the event. And we've had some that shoot lots of content. They send us the work a week or so when we give them the first deadline, and it's not exactly what we've asked for. So we've given them notes back, and it's taken them maybe a week or 2 to get that content back to us, and still they haven't really listened to the notes. They've kind of gone on their own thing, and it's been a little bit disappointing, I guess. But then we've met with a different videographer who was absolutely fantastic. He came on the Friday, which was the day of the season awards. By Monday, he had sent us the first draft. We gave him 1 or 2 notes, and he instantly understood those notes. He made the changes, and within 24 hours, we had a completed video, which was perfect. So it was ready to be sent out a week later on social media and for our website, exactly what we wanted. So he 100% over-delivered on what we were expecting, hence why we've hired him 3 years in a row. So that just goes to show, if you can be that way inclined, then you will get work and you will keep attracting work, and then you become word of mouth. And if you become word of mouth and other clients pass you around to their other businesses or whatever it may be, you will see the work just come to you, and hopefully you'll be sitting there with your diary thinking, I don't know if I can do all of this work. But you have to be that way minded. You have to meet deadlines and over deliver, and that is one way to get rehired over and over and over again. So point 2. Oh, sorry, but I should say, nothing is ever achieved by just sending emails. So you have to follow that up. So this videographer, I reached out to him actually, and I didn't follow him back up. So he replied, and and I didn't follow up. I had so many things on my plate, so I just completely forgot about this videographer. He followed up 3 times, and then he somehow found our office number. He phoned us and asked what was going on. So immediately then that planted the seed of, I've forgotten to do something. So then I went through my emails, found his email. He put pressure on me basically, and then we continued the conversation and we ended up hiring him. So you can't just send one email and expect everything to go your way. You have to pick up the phone, you have to reach out to other creatives. If you're trying to get in contact with a production company, call them. Find out if the person you are emailing, if that is the correct email information for them. Yes, be prolific in getting through, because you can't just send one email, you can't just phone once. And if you get no response, do it again and again and again until you do. So I'm glad that videographer did get back in contact. But you have to also remember that this is a very oversaturated industry. And people are super busy, so just keep on at them and hopefully you will get a response. No, you will get a response.
Yeah, you can't be scared to pick up that phone, can you?
No, not at all. So number 2.
So you can run targeted marketing campaigns that draw audiences to your work. This is something that before I came to Liftoff, I'd never seen before. I had no experience or understanding of this. And over my years at Liftoff, I've seen this and seen the power that it really can have. So go on YouTube and learn about paid target marketing. All it takes is a quick Google, and so much information comes up there to help you. One of the things that really interested me when I looked at this was what's called the STP marketing process. And it's kind of like a step-by-step process called segmenting, targeting, and positioning. And this is kind of like an approach to figure out which segments best offer the most profit potential, and then how you effectively market to that segment. So really breaking up your audience into different sections and targeting them hard with marketing that suits the appeal for them, if that makes sense. So build a release strategy that collects follows, likes, and emails, kind of along the same lines that we've been talking about in previous workshops with things like collecting data emails to build your own audience. That's exactly what this is. Just sort of has a bit of a scarier name to it. And then deliver your strategy based on a series of hype goals. And then you can market and remarket offline and organic associations. So, I mean, one of the ways that we've done this, at Liftoff is Facebook. Facebook target ads have been amazing. You can create audiences. You can create, what's it called, James? The lookalike audience.
Yeah, so they will find audiences that are similar to who you're targeting, and then you get a massive outreach compared to what you were initially targeting.
Yeah, I mean, that's genius based on the data that you're inputting. So, yeah, this is definitely a way that you can sort of solidify an audience for your work, which ultimately then gets turned into revenue just slightly further down the line. Okay, so number 3. So create a production company that makes music videos, business content, Kickstarter crowdfunding videos, PFI-based content, charity content. The list is endless. I mean, I have a friend who I went to school with, did the school musicals with, and I found out recently when I sort of reconnected that he had set up a production company called Raw Pictures, and I've seen how much content he is making and has been really successful. Just recently, actually, the other week, he put out an NHS film, which actually the band that I used to love, You Me at Six, offered one of their songs to be a soundtrack for it. And straight away, it hit 11,000 views on YouTube. So there's so much out there. And I guess if you're sort of thinking, well, where on earth do I even start? When we're talking music videos, obviously, great place, Spotify, SoundCloud. If you listen to things like BBC Introducing in England, that's where our emerging artists kind of get a spot in the sunlight. Or you can even look at festivals and look at the sort of upcoming bands in the smaller slots at festivals. Reach out to those guys and offer to make work that you think suits them and pitch to them. So obviously this is something where you're going to have to hone those pitching skills for all of this. Same with business content. Kickstarter, crowdfunding, you need a good video for those. You can offer to put one of those together. Or certainly edit. I think that's another section here that I actually should have put on a separate bullet point, because editing is massive. I mean, Spielberg, wasn't he? He was an intern at Universal in the edit department, and that's where he got spotted with his short film.
Can I cut in, Claire, with another one, if that's okay? If you don't
Yeah,
mind
of course.
butting in here, because this is the stuff that, like, my entire acting career was based on making money from, was basically making money for businesses. And if you go to trade shows, they're usually free to register. You can just register for free to go to any trade show. So an aircraft industry trade show, a travel trade show, anything like that, where there's companies all getting together.
Yeah.
And you can walk around the stands, and you'll see some of the stands have videos on their TV, on big TVs, and some of the other stands don't have videos. And they're the ones you go up to and you say, "Oh, do you like the video on that stand over there? Well, I can do you that video for $5,500, and it'll be ready by next week." And that's just how it works. I mean, we used to get work like that all the time when we used to do sort of videos for businesses and stuff. It was really, really good. Really great way of directly confronting businesses straight away, and you immediately talk to the marketing person because the marketing person is always at a trade show, and it just works like that. It's really, really powerful. Sorry for butting in. I'll stop talking.
No, not at all. I think trade shows is genius, and you get free pens and free things.
Free pens and free bags.
Yeah, and free sweets usually. So.
And free sweets.
Yeah.
So no, I think that was a great idea. We went to a few in my first year of Liftoff actually, and it was exciting to see how that works. Equally, as it says there, though, local businesses, there's nothing from stopping you just walking into the shops in your local high street, saying, do you want just a 30-second or minute video clip to go on something like Facebook or Instagram? Because it's clearly the way the world's going. So yeah, definitely worth doing. As it says there, you can use social media, especially if you're doing things like I said, editing. You've got things like Mandy.com, Talent Manager, People Per Hour, all these places where you can find moonlighting work or just freelancer work, if you're not doing it as your own production company, that is. And again, as we said there, public funded initiatives, just another type sector that might want video content.
Like your friend who did the video for the NHS.
Exactly.
Funded.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, my mum works at a school, and not that long ago, she sort of mentioned that they might be looking for their new video because they haven't done one in years. So schools, they always need videos as well, videography for their websites, things like that. Yeah. But as we've got there, this is just something to bear in mind, protection. So we say here, limit yourself to one production from each of those categories that we've just aforementioned, for free or for cost. You only need to do one of those. If that's adding it to your CV, don't go then continuing that. Ultimately, this is all about making money for you. So that's just something to bear in mind. And then this is sort of an equation that James put together, and I think it works brilliantly. So when you invoice a client, split the bill in half, and they're paying 50% upfront and then 50% on completion. Always make sure you've got that security. You know, you cannot have them just paying 100% of the fees on completion of the project. And what we've written in there, so inside that first 50%, which they're paying before you've started any of the work, must be the entire costs of the project. So write that list of everything that you need. So if you need to hire equipment, if you need actors, whatever, make sure that all of those costs are in there, plus 20% for your time. And that's how you come to that figure. And then the rest of the 50% that means afterwards is just pure earnings. So should anything go wrong, you are already completely covered.
And it's a deposit. It's a deposit.
Yeah, exactly. It works as a deposit. And as it says there, very importantly, no final delivery until the invoice is fully paid.
Correct.
You know, a shop wouldn't hand over something to you before you've paid, would they? So you've got to think of it like that, as a tangible product.
A very good point.
Absolutely. Great.
Okay.
So number 4 is to build a journalist database and offer out PR services that connect with your content from number 3. So everything Claire just mentioned, make sure that you have perhaps influencers or stakeholders or journalists who are supporting that, what you're kind of doing. This can be anything from YouTubers, podcasters, people within the trade, within the film industry, the music industry. If they already have a following, then you've already got an audience behind that. And it's great because they will be promoting their work on their Instagrams, Facebook, all different types of social media. And literally, it will just help get those numbers behind you. How many did you say was viewed from this NHS video?
Well, last time I looked, when I saw the tweet go out, it was already on 11,000.
And that was within a matter of days or
days.
hours?
Days, yeah.
Exactly. So there's already an audience behind that. So that's what you need to look out for. Yeah. So just by having some of these names and locations, you can win projects by simply offering these out as contacts after you've finished delivering the video. So if you're working for someone, a client, or one of those local shops that you've walked into, then you can say, I actually know quite a few people who are also interested in organic vegetables or fruit or whatever the video may be for. And you can put them in touch with this local shop, and then there you go. That's audience already created. So just be thinking about different ways that you can connect all of the dots together. So yeah, so if a supermarket, well, it's weird I spoke about organic vegetables then. So if a supermarket can sell 90 different types of butter to millions of people, you can sell your content. Know what your goals are and focus on learning, shaping your vision to get what your hard work and creativity deserves. Yes. So you've got to do your homework, don't you, Claire?
Absolutely. So just repeating all of the points we've said, but research. So know your market, know the content, obviously, know your buyers, your audience, and know your own limitations. But equally, I think I would just add one more into there, actually. Know your limitations, but also know your potential and your power.
Yep. Great. And understand the risks. So manage the expectations of everyone. It's funny because we obviously have an international film festival around the world. We're in 11 cities. When we tell people that, they instantly imagine red carpets, champagne glasses, and lots of celebrities attending all of these events. And that's not what our ethos is. So when you are speaking to different people, make sure that they are aware of what it is that you're trying to achieve and that you understand what they want as well. So just make sure that you manage people's expectations. Okay. Definitely.
So remember, just keep going. Oh, back to Natalie's point last week.
Yeah.
I won't ask you to do the Shia LaBeouf impression again, but keep concepting ideas, keep solving problems for others, keep filming, keep directing actors, keep doing what you want to do, keep building your brand, and you'll get there.
Cool.
We have a question from the chat room. We've got Recovery Channel have asked, what would be your marketing advice for a travel vlog web series? I'm feeling kind of trapped because it's just comedy and more than a travel vlog, but no one has done this before.
Who's that from?
That is from Recovery Channel. Recovery Channel. Oh. That's the name of their YouTube channel anyway. Awesome stuff. I would say, just to kind of butt in here with my 10 minutes worth, first of all, is that I'm sorry I forgot to mention it's a comedy travel vlog. No, I think I got that, yeah. I would pitch it to a whole bunch of hotels first and foremost, and locations that you wish to attend to, because if you're doing a travel vlog where you're going to certain places of interest, for example, there's not going to be any money in the public area for things like museums and things like that. So if you go to museums, it might not necessarily work. But try to include people that maybe want to like publicize or promote their businesses. So if you're going to a particular location, say for example you're going to Lima, which is in Peru, and we have one of our friends here in the chat room is actually from Peru today. Roberto's joins us from Peru.
Oh, cool.
If you're going to Lima, for example, you would contact several local businesses that are based in Peru that have an international ambition. And you would say, like, so hotels have international ambitions because they want people to when they come to Lima, to stay at their hotel. Which is why when you see travel TV programs, they always emphasize on certain hotels. They don't mention all hotels, they just mention the hotels that are paying them to be there. So get those listed in there. Also as well, some of the sightseeing operators, so people that do helicopter tours across the city, people that do sightseeing tours up mountains and stuff, all that kind of jazz. Just get in contact with as many of them as possible. There are thousands of them. And then in between those little paid skits that you do, those little paid advertising moments, you have your comedy travel vlog where you find a hamster that's about to get slaughtered, or you talk to something else or whatever, I don't know. But you can have all these different things that exist surrounding around the paid advertising, kind of like product placement, but from a travel perspective.
And is there a particular target audience that you have here? What's the age range for these?
Yeah, what's the target? I guess the target audience for Recovery Channel. That's your question to answer, isn't it? Really, for the comedy side of things. I'll ask him in the chat room and see if he gets back to us.
Yeah, I would also just jump in there and say that it never fails to amaze me the following that so many travel vloggers get on places like Instagram. Yeah. So it could well be worth reaching out to some of those ones that have huge following and offering maybe to do any collaborations or anything like that, so that you can harness all of their following that they've already worked hard work on building that up.
And it's important then, if you are going to use Instagram, to use the 60-second rule that they have on their videos. So it has to be below that time frame, so you can maximize the opportunity of using the platform to its fullest.
Definitely.
Fullest? Yeah. Fullest. So, yes. So keep trying to build your brand, essentially.
Yes.
So revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is reality. I love that. That cash is definitely the reality, and that's what you've got to strive for. So we're just going to recap a few things that we talked about last week. And we've already mentioned this at the beginning, but it's so important that I just want to say it again. You have to become more responsible for your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge to better equip your output as an artist. The filmmaker that rises from the dust are always those that do as much as they can to better understand their audience and how others are doing with similar resources and opportunities. If there is another travel blog out there, contact them, ask them how they got to that position that they're in, if they've got 1 million viewers. Find out where they're based. If they're based not that far from you, then sit down and have a cup of coffee. Who knows, a collaboration may come out at the end of it. And if not, then the advice that they've given you, you can maybe put towards your own thing, or you can be like, no, actually, they've done that. I'm going to go this route instead. So it doesn't hurt to learn from other people. So, and attend more film festivals.
Yeah, as we always say, and we will say it again, you can't expect an industry to support you if you don't support it. Yeah,
It's
so true.
As simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you wouldn't head into something like jewelry making without looking at loads of previous examples, would you? It makes no sense to me that people are desperate to get into film festivals and they can't understand why they're not receiving any screenings if they have not seen what's out there and what is doing well. So as we always say, attend the film festivals, but also look at what they're programming. So many festivals, we certainly do on our website. You can look at our previous programs and do the research.
Yeah, great. So create a mission plan. So search for local film festival screenings in your area and attend them. And if you can't attend them, do exactly what Claire just said. Have a look at their library. Have a look at what they've screened in the previous years. Yes. Volunteer some of your time to help others in their projects. This is how you make connections. This is how you collaborate with others. If you give your time to their project, they will most likely give time to your project.
100%.
So engage with filmmakers whose work you find similar to your own. Attend film festivals, connect with the work that you see, and if there is a project that you absolutely love, tell them that you love their work. And then engage with filmmakers' work who is on that next run up to yours. How did they get there? What was their process? And then engage with filmmakers' work who you find inspiring. There is no harm in sending emails to agents or connecting agents whose work, who they represent, that you absolutely love. Just throw it out there, you never know what happens. And then discover true indie film content online and pay for it and share it. We are running online festivals throughout this whole period, and it's just great to see the how many people are involved in those screenings, how many people are viewing the films that are going online. It's just great to have a true independent platform. And to be fair, the content on Netflix and Amazon I'm getting pretty bored of right now, so having something fresh and from your peers is what I want to see. So yes,
Definitely.
This is your action plan. Follow it. It's great. But keep working on those ideas. Build a stable and reliable creativity engine. And remember, you're not just one film. You have multiple films in you, and you will learn from all of the films that you have made previously. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, that kind of draws to a conclusion before we come back, if anyone does have any other questions, to the workshop. But we've just got a few things that we want to highlight to you now as well. And one of the most exciting ones being that our Tokyo Liftoff Film Festival is starting next week. So we are hosting a huge selection of official selections, very exciting, exclusively on Vimeo On Demand. And these are going to be running live for the whole month of June. So we've got a lot of indie film content for you to feast on next month. And the first two programs are actually going live on Sunday. So we'll be starting off with our headliner shorts and our headliner features. And all the information will very shortly be on our website. And all screening filmmakers, you'll be receiving further details very shortly too. And we can't wait to start screening your work. Yeah, we're going to be doing lots and lots of interactive stuff as well. So keep your eyes peeled on YouTube for different events happening simultaneously.
Great. I am excited. I'm excited as well.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We've obviously been sort of processing the films the last week, and there's some great stuff there that I look forward to seeing.
It's going to be great fun.
Yeah, lots of Japanese content too, which is going to be really exciting for you all to see.
Yeah.
And again, this is just something else that we want to mention. So following last year's success, we are going to Cannes again. So Monday, the 22nd of June is when their online marché starts, and our diaries are already booking up very quickly for that week. We've already got meetings with so many sales agents, VOD platforms. We've got our next meeting with Netflix again. So send us your stuff. The application process is still open just for a short while. And everybody who has submitted to us, you'll be hearing the outcome very shortly. We'll be in touch.
Perfect. Yeah. So are you a filmmaker looking to launch your career? So become a professional member. Get your professional membership. So what's included in that? For $189 a year, you get free submissions to all of the festivals and showcases. You get career road mapping sessions, which have been going brilliantly so far. We've had lots of people involved in those discussions and learning what it is that they're trying to achieve, how we can help them, and the struggles that they've overcome. It's brilliant. You can watch some of them on our YouTube channel, and we'll be doing those every Wednesday. So if you want to get involved, you can do so via the Facebook page, which is exclusively for our professional members, the Liftoff Network page. And you can join us here in the audience when everything is back to normal. We have a fantastic jobs dashboard as well, which cover a multitude of jobs. So if you are looking to maybe quit that day job and find something else, then we host a multitude of jobs related to the film industry on the jobs dashboard. And as Claire just mentioned, we do the film market representation at all of the major film markets around the world, including Cannes, AFM, which is the American film market, EFM, which is the European film market, and maybe at a later date we'll be moving to the Asian film market, which is in Hong Kong. But we'll see.
Question coming in from Daddy Pickle.
Yep.
Great name, Daddy Pickle. Great name. He's asking, or she's asking, what submission is closing soon? Which submission will be closing soon for which festival?
So that was the application for representation at the markets. So
which submission is closing soon for the film festivals, I believe?
Yeah, so the next festival that will be closing is New York.
New York Liftoff.
Yeah, and that will be closing, I believe it is mid-June.
Mid-June,
yeah. We extended the date, so it is mid-June. So New York Liftoff Film Festival. And going back to the membership things, if there's anything you want to look at, you can follow this link here. It's also in the description below. So yes, Finn, do we have any other questions?
Do you need to be in New York to submit your film?
Absolutely not.
Definitely not. It's an international film festival. We love filmmakers from New York, and we do heavily try to do a New York local filmmakers showcase, but it's all about bringing the global film community together. So every Liftoff is all about anyone that's creating content that we believe in and we think is awesome, we screen.
We screen things from first-time filmmakers through to prolific filmmakers. We, as James just said, heavily prioritise films from the US, but we absolutely love international film. And it can be short, feature, a micro short, which is tiny. I think the shortest film we've ever screened was about 2 minutes long, and it was fantastic. So it could be anything. Cool. Any other questions?
Nope. We're good.
All right, great. Well,
great.
In that case, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. We will see you again soon. See you next Friday.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.